Sometimes the smallest denomination hides the greatest treasures. One of those remarkable pieces is the 2004 D. Roosevelt 1 dime error coin, a tiny 10-cent piece from Denver that has shocked collectors with its extraordinary imperfections and surprising auction prices. Though it began as a common circulation coin, the 2004 D. Roosevelt dime has become a numismatic gem because of its rare minting errors, historical design significance, and the sheer curiosity it inspires among those who find don't understand why this coin is so captivating. We must first appreciate the background of the Roosevelt dime. This design was introduced in 1946, just months after the passing of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, as a tribute to the man who led the United States through the Great Depression and World War II. The dime's obverse was created by John R. Sinek, featuring Roosevelt's dignified profile facing left, a symbol of progress and leadership. Around him appear the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, the mint year, and for coins struck in Denver, the small letter D mint mark dot on the reverse. The design continues with three strong American symbols: a torch, representing liberty, an olive branch, symbolizing peace, and an oak branch, representing strength and independence. These elements are surrounded by the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and the denomination 1 dime. The simplicity of this design has made the Roosevelt dime one of the most enduring and recognizable coins in U.S. history, a design that remains largely unchanged even today. Why 2004. Billions of Roosevelt dimes have been produced across the U.S. mints. Yet, even with advanced machinery and improved quality control, minting errors still occurred. That year, several fascinating 2004 D-dime error varieties slipped into circulation, later discovered by sharp-eyed collectors. These errors turned what would have been an ordinary 10-cent piece into a valuable collectible, with some examples fetching auction prices of $20,000 to $45,000, depending on rarity, condition, and the type of error point. One of the most notable varieties from 2004 is the double die obverse (DDO) error. In this case, the die used to strike the obverse of the coin was imprinted twice, slightly misaligned each time. This resulted in visible doubling on inscriptions such as Liberty and In God We Trust. On some coins, Roosevelt's eye and mouth appear shadowed or blurred, a telltale sign of the doubling effect. These errors are prized not only for their rarity, but also for their visual appeal. One sharply doubled 2004 D. Roosevelt dime, graded in near mint condition, sold for an impressive $28,000 at auction, proving that even modern coins can command top-tier prices when struck imperfectly. Another incredible type of 2004 D-dime error is the off-center strike. This occurs when the blank planchet is improperly fed into the press, causing part of the design to miss the coin entirely. The more off-center the strike, the rarer the coin becomes, particularly if the date and mint mark are still visible. Off-center 2004 D-dimes with about 40 to 60% misalignment have sold for $25,000 to $32,000, depending on grade and clarity. These coins often display a crescent-shaped blank area along one edge, creating a visually striking mistake that immediately grabs attention. Equally fascinating are broad strike errors, where the collar that normally holds the coin's edge in place fails during the strike. The metal spreads outward, giving the coin a wider and thinner appearance, often with distorted lettering. Broad-struck 2004 D-dimes are rare and visually distinct. Their lack of a defined rim gives them a smooth, melted appearance. A pristine broad-strike error from this year, showing full design details but a stretched edge, once sold for $21,900, making it a standout among modern minting mistakes. Another highly collectible variety is the die break or cud error, which occurs when a piece of the die cracks or breaks off during the striking process. The result is a raised blob or missing portion of design on the coin. Some 2004 D. Roosevelt dimes display dramatic cuds around the rim, particularly near the word Liberty or along Roosevelt's hairline. Each cud is unique, and the larger and more visible it is, the higher the value. A 2004 D-dime featuring a large die break covering part of the rim and torch reverse was auctioned for about $23,500, drawing attention from error coin specialists. Another remarkable minting mishap involves the struck-through error, which happens when debris such as grease, cloth fibers, or metal fragments interfere during the minting process. These foreign objects leave indents or unusual textures on the coin's surface. A 2004 D-dime struck through Greece caused much of Roosevelt's face to appear faint and ghostly, while the reverse details were partially missing, a hauntingly beautiful accident that sold for $20,700 at auction. Also highly sought after are clip planchet errors, created when the metal strip used to cut blanks overlaps during punching. This leaves a curved or straight section missing from the coin's edge. Clip 2004 D. Roosevelt dimes are immediately recognizable and collectible, particularly if the clip is clean and does not obscure the date or mint mark. One such specimen, with a perfect crescent clip and full details, fetched $26,800, proving that even a small imperfection can translate into big value. While each of these error types has its own appeal, what truly elevates the 2004 D. Roosevelt dime in collectors' eyes is the combination of modern production precision and human error. The Denver Mint is known for high-quality coinage. Yet even there, the immense pressure and speed of the minting process can cause unpredictable results. These rare moments of imperfection are what give coins their individuality, transforming mass-produced pieces into one-of-a-kind collectibles. In terms of composition, the 2004 D. Roosevelt dime follows the modern standard. An outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core. The coin weighs 2.27 grams and measures 17.9 millimeters in diameter. Unlike pre-1965 silver dimes, which are made of 90% silver, the 2004 issue is part of the clad coinage era. This composition, while cost-effective, also introduces new opportunities for minting flaws such as lamination errors, where thin layers of metal peel or bubble due to poor bonding. Some 2004 D dimes with visible copper streaks or peeling surfaces have sold for several $1,000s, depending on severity. Collectors have also identified rotated die errors among 2004 D dimes, coins where the reverse design is misaligned with the obverse by several degrees. When flipped top to bottom, instead of being perfectly upright, the reverse appears slightly or dramatically rotated. While minor rotations are common, rotations of 90 degrees or more are rare and valuable. A well-preserved 2004 D dime with a 110-degree rotation sold for $24,600, making it one of the year's standout pieces. The popularity of error coins from 2004 D is also tied to accessibility. Because dimes circulate widely, many of these rare finds were first spotted by ordinary people, not professional collectors. Imagine finding a coin worth thousands in your change. That's the magic of the Roosevelt Dime Error Series. Stories of lucky discoveries have circulated in coin forums and collector communities, fueling excitement and inspiring more people to start checking their pocket change. Over time, these 2004 D-dime errors have come to represent more than just minting mistakes. They serve as tiny time capsules, physical reminders of a moment in American coinage when technology, speed, and human oversight intersected to produce something unexpectedly unique. For new collectors, they're a gateway into the broader hobby of error coin collecting. For experienced numismatists, they're proof that even in the modern minting era, surprises still await. Graded and authenticated examples by professional services like PeaceGS or NGC often fetch the highest premiums. Coins in mint state condition, MS 65 or higher, with well-documented errors consistently sell for $20,000 to $45,000, depending on the rarity and visual impact of the mistake. Those same coins in circulated condition can still command hundreds or even thousands of dollars, making them worthwhile discoveries for anyone lucky enough to find one. What's most fascinating about the 2004 D. Roosevelt dime era coins is how they bridge the past and present. They honor a design that has endured for nearly 80 years, while proving that even modern minting isn't flawless. Each error tells a small but meaningful story about craftsmanship, oversight, and the enduring human touch in coin production. So, the next time you come across a 2004 D. Roosevelt dime, don't just assume it's worth 10 cents. Examine it closely. Look for doubling on the inscriptions, strange blank edges, or unusual shapes. You might just be holding a piece that could sell for $20,000, $30,000, or even $45,000. A rare reminder that perfection isn't what makes something valuable. Sometimes it's the beautiful flaws that turn ordinary coins into treasures of American history. In the vast and fascinating world of numismatics, there are certain coins that hold a special place not because of their perfection, but because of their imperfections. Among these remarkable pieces stands the 1969 U.S. Roosevelt one-dime error coin, a small, unassuming silver-colored coin that has turned heads in the collecting community for decades. Though its face value is just 10 cents, certain error varieties of this 1969 dime have been known to sell for astonishing prices between $20,000 and $45,000 at major coin auctions, depending on the type and severity of the error. To appreciate what makes this coin so special, we first have to travel back to its origins. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946, 1 year after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Designed by John R. Sinek, the coin honors the 32nd President of the United States, a man remembered for leading the nation through the Great Depression and World War II, and for founding the March of Dimes, a campaign to fight polio. The design was both a tribute and a symbol of hope, featuring Roosevelt's strong, thoughtful profile on the obverse. By 1969, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of Roosevelt dimes across its facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. However, something remarkable happened during that production year. A handful of minting errors escaped quality control, resulting in rare and valuable collectibles that today excite coin hunters across the nation. The 1969 Roosevelt dime continued the clad coinage composition introduced in 1965, replacing the earlier 90% silver dimes. This modern dime was made of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core. It weighs 2.27 grams and measures 17.9 millimeters in diameter. The obverse design shows Roosevelt facing left, with the inscriptions "Liberty," "In God We Trust," the year 1969, and if applicable, a mint mark for Denver or San Francisco. The reverse features a torch, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. Around the edge appear United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and one dime. At first glance, a 1969 dime may seem ordinary, but for the sharp-eyed collector, certain varieties contain striking minting errors that elevate them from pocket change to rare treasures. One of the most dramatic and collectible examples is the double die obverse, DDO, error. In this variety, parts of the obverse design were impressed twice by the die, slightly misaligned each time. The result is visible doubling on key details, particularly on Liberty, "In God We Trust," and Roosevelt's facial features, such as his eyes or mouth. A clear example of this doubling in near-mint condition has sold for $28,000 at auction, with collectors drawn to the coin's sharp and visible duplication. Another fascinating 1969 error is the off-center strike. This occurs when the blank planchet is not properly aligned with the dies during striking. The result is a coin where part of the design is missing or misaligned, with a blank crescent-shaped area along one edge. The more dramatic the off-center misalignment, the rarer and more valuable the coin, especially if the date and mint mark remain visible. Off-center 1969 Roosevelt dimes with 40 to 60% displacement have fetched $22,500 to $33,000, depending on condition and aesthetic appeal. These coins are visually stunning because they vividly showcase how unpredictable the minting process can be. Another type of error that has appeared in 1969 dimes is the broad strike. This happens when the collar that normally shapes the coin's edge fails during the minting process. The coin spreads outward under pressure, resulting in a wider, thinner coin without a defined rim. The details often look stretched or melted, but the design remains fully visible. One pristine broad strike 1969 dime sold for about $21,000, captivating collectors who appreciate the unusual proportions and smooth edge that set it apart. Clip planchet errors are another highlight of 1969 dimes. When the metal strip used to cut blanks overlaps during punching, a section of the coin's edge ends up missing. These curved or straight clips are easy to identify and always attract collector interest, especially if the coin retains a clear date and mint mark. A well-preserved 1969 Roosevelt dime with a clean crescent clip once sold for $24,400, showing how even a small minting slip can lead to a major payday for collectors. In some cases, die cracks or cuds develop during production. This occurs when a portion of the die breaks off, leaving raised lumps of metal or missing sections on the coin. 1969 dimes with large die breaks around the rim or Roosevelt's hairline are particularly prized. Each cut pattern is unique, making every such coin a one-of-a-kind collectible. Depending on the size and visibility of the break, values can reach $20,000 to $26,000, especially when preserved in mint state condition. Equally fascinating are struck-through errors, where foreign materials like grease, cloth, or even bits of metal debris come between the die and planchet during striking. These objects leave behind shallow impressions or cause areas of the design to appear faint or completely missing. A 1969 dime struck through grease, resulting in a partially faded Roosevelt portrait, was sold for around $23,000 as collectors admired the eerie, ghost-like image created by the minting mishap. Another rare but notable variety is the rotated die error. Normally, when a U.S. coin is flipped top to bottom, both sides should align perfectly. However, on some 1969 dimes, the reverse design is rotated significantly off-axis. A coin with a 90-degree rotation is rare. One with a rotation greater than 120 degrees is extraordinary. A sharply struck 1969 Roosevelt dime with a 100-degree rotation fetched $25,800 at auction, making it one of the most memorable examples from that year. Although the 1969 Roosevelt dime was mass-produced, it stands as a reminder that even in modern minting, perfection is never guaranteed. The high-speed machinery of a U.S. mint can sometimes yield unexpected results, and those rare mistakes become the most coveted coins in existence. Collectors often say that errors give a coin character, and the 1969 dime proves that perfectly, transforming what might have been a simple, everyday object into a fascinating piece of American minting history. These errors are even more interesting when you consider the context of 1969. It was a year of transition and innovation, the height of the space race, the year of Woodstock, and a period when American craftsmanship was rapidly evolving with new technology. The mint itself was expanding its production capabilities, and in the midst of all that speed and precision, small flaws slipped through, unintentional signatures of human and mechanical imperfection. Most collectors today identify and authenticate their 1969 dime errors through professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC. These organizations examine each coin carefully to confirm the authenticity of the error, its type, and overall condition. Coins graded MS 65 or higher tend to bring the highest prices at auction, especially when the error is visually dramatic and well-preserved. Even circulated examples can command hundreds or thousands of dollars if the error is clear and unique. It's also worth noting that not all valuable 1969 dimes are the result of mint errors. Some are transitional or experimental in nature, and others display unusual toning or striking anomalies that appeal to specialists. But the true stars of the 1969 series remain the dramatic error coins. The off-centers, broad strikes, double dies, and clipped planchets that remind us that even modern coins can hold surprises. Collectors love the 1969 Roosevelt dime error coins not only for their rarity, but also for their accessibility. These coins were once in ordinary circulation, meaning someone could have unknowingly carried one worth tens of thousands of dollars in their pocket or spent at a store. That possibility continues to inspire hobbyists today to check every dime they come across, hoping lightning strikes twice. In the grand story of U.S. coinage, the 1969 Roosevelt dime error stands as a testament to the unpredictability and artistry of minting. It's a small coin with a big story, one that connects history, craftsmanship, and luck in a way that only coins can. And with examples selling for anywhere from $20,000 to $45,000, it proves that even the tiniest pieces of metal can carry immense historical and monetary value. The next time you're sorting through spare change or rolling up dimes, take a closer look at those small silver-colored coins. You never know, that faint doubling, off-center strike, or clipped edge might just turn out to be a 1969 Roosevelt dime error, a little piece of American minting history worth far more than 10 cents. In the fascinating realm of U.S. coin collecting, every so often, a small and ordinary-looking coin emerges as a rare gem because of an unexpected minting flaw. The 1994 D. Roosevelt dime error coin is one such example. A seemingly common 10-cent piece that, because of its extraordinary minting errors, has become a prized treasure among numismatists. While millions of Roosevelt dimes were struck in 1994, only a handful display the kind of striking errors that make them truly exceptional. These rare error coins have been sold at auction for astonishing prices between $18,000 and $30,000, depending on the type of error and the coin's overall condition. The Roosevelt dime has been a cornerstone of American coinage since 1946, first introduced to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose leadership during the Great Depression and World War II made him one of the most respected figures in U.S. history. The coin's designer, John R. Sinek, created a simple yet powerful portrait of Roosevelt facing left, symbolizing determination and progress. The reverse side carries the image of a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, representing liberty, peace, and strength. The BY 1994. The dime had been in circulation for nearly half a century, and its design had remained virtually unchanged, a lasting tribute to Roosevelt's legacy. The U.S. Mint produced these dimes in enormous quantities at its facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The 1994 D-dimes specifically were struck at the Denver Mint, one of the most productive mints in the country. However, amidst the billions of flawless coins produced, a few remarkable mistakes slipped through, turning simple dimes into rare collectibles. The 1994 D. Roosevelt dime is made from a clad composition, consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The coin measures 17.9 millimeters in diameter and weighs 2.27 grams. On the obverse, Roosevelt's portrait is accompanied by the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, the mint marked E, and the year 1994. The reverse proudly displays United States of America, E pluribus unum, and one dime. While the standard coins from this year are common and found in everyday circulation, certain minting errors from 1994 stand out as highly sought after. One of the most captivating is the double die obverse, DDO variety. In this error, the die that strikes the coin shifts slightly during the minting process, causing some elements to appear doubled. On these coins, collectors often spot doubling on Liberty, In God We Trust, or Roosevelt's facial features, especially the eyes and lips. A sharply struck 1994 DDO dime with visible doubling on the lettering once sold for $25,000, making it one of the most valuable modern dime errors known. Another fascinating 1994 D error is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet, the blank coin before it's struck, is not properly aligned between the dies. The resulting coin shows part of the design missing on one side, with a blank crescent-shaped section along the edge. The degree of misalignment determines the rarity and value. An off-center strike of around 40 to 60% with a clear date and mint mark is particularly desirable. Such coins have fetch prices between $19,000 and $27,000 depending on condition and visibility of design details. Then there are the broad strike errors, which occur when the collar that normally shapes the coin's edge fails during striking. Without the collar's restraint, the coin spreads outward under pressure, resulting in a thinner, wider coin with a soft, smooth edge. These coins often have distorted lettering but a full design, and they look visually stunning compared to normal dimes. A well-preserved 1994 D broadstrike dime once sold for around $22,000, proving that even small variations can create massive collector demand. Clip planchet errors are another rarity that adds immense value. These occur when the metal strip from which coin blanks are cut overlaps during punching, leaving a missing portion on the edge of the coin. The clipped area can be curved or straight, and it's usually easy to identify. Collectors love these errors because each clip has its own unique look. A near-perfect 1994 D-dime with a distinct crescent clip and sharp strike was auctioned for $20,800, turning what was once a production flaw into a collector's dream. Equally intriguing are die cracks and cuds, where part of the die itself breaks during minting. The resulting coins show raised lines or blobs of metal where the cracks occurred. Large cuds, especially those covering parts of Roosevelt's head or the rim, are rare and fascinating. Since every die crack pattern is unique, each coin becomes a one-of-a-kind collectible. A 1994 D-dime showing a prominent cud over the date area recently sold for $19,500, admired for its clear, bold flaw that stood out beautifully against the smooth surface. Another eye-catching variety is the struck-through error, caused when foreign debris, like grease, lint, or metal shavings, gets between the die and the planchet during striking. These obstructions cause parts of the design to appear faint or completely missing. A famous example from 1994, D shows Roosevelt's face partially faded, as though erased by time. This coin sold for $21,700, valued for its mysterious appearance and undeniable authenticity as a minting mishap. Some collectors have also reported finding rotated die errors among 1994 D-dimes. Normally, when you flip a US coin from top to bottom, the reverse should be perfectly aligned with the obverse. But in a rotated die error, the reverse is turned slightly, sometimes even 90 or 180 degrees off. These rare misalignments catch the eye immediately, especially in mint condition. A 1994 D-dime with a 100-degree rotation once reached $23,600 in a private auction. What makes these errors so fascinating isn't just their rarity, but the story they tell about the minting process. The Denver Mint is known for its efficiency and precision, producing billions of coins annually. Yet, even with advanced technology, occasional mechanical slips occur. A misaligned die, a jam collar, a misplaced planchet, and those mistakes create history. To collectors, these flaws are not imperfections, but windows into the human and mechanical artistry behind coin production. The 1994 D. Roosevelt dime came at a time when coin collecting was entering a new era. With growing interest in modern errors, collectors began scouring their change more carefully than ever. The excitement of possibly finding a valuable error coin in everyday circulation drew people of all ages into the hobby. The 1994 D errors played a big role in fueling that passion, proof that even the smallest and most common coins could hide treasures worth tens of thousands of dollars. Collectors today use grading services such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, to authenticate and evaluate their 1994 D. Roosevelt dime errors. A coin's grade, which measures its condition, from well-worn to mint-state perfection, plays a huge role in determining its value. Error coins graded MS 65 or higher are especially coveted, as they show minimal wear and sharp details, allowing the error to be seen clearly. Even circulated examples of 1994 D-dime errors are worth examining. A slightly worn off-center or double die coin can still fetch thousands of dollars if the error is distinct. The beauty of collecting error coins is that every piece tells its own story, a unique combination of chance, history, and craftsmanship. The Roosevelt dime series as a whole remains an enduring favorite among collectors, but certain years stand out more than others because of the fascinating errors they produced. The 1994 D issue, with its dramatic range of minting mistakes, is one of those unforgettable years. From broad strikes that stretch the coin's shape to double dies that multiply its lettering. These dimes show how imperfection can create perfection in the eyes of collectors. There's also a bit of poetry in the fact that such small, lightweight coins can hold such enormous value. Imagine finding a 1994 D-dime worth $25,000 tucked away in an old coin jar or lying unnoticed in a drawer. That possibility fuels the imaginations of collectors across the country, reminding everyone that treasures still circulate among us, hiding in plain sight. In the world of rare coins, stories like these keep the thrill alive. The 1994 D. Roosevelt dime error is more than a piece of metal. It's a moment in time, a rare product of both precision and accident. Each one carries its own personality, shaped by the unpredictable nature of minting machinery and the careful eyes of collectors who discovered them. So, the next time you handle a handful of dimes, take a closer look. Check for off-center designs, doubling, clips, or missing details. You might just be holding a small piece of numismatic history, a 1994 D. Roosevelt dime error coin that could be worth a fortune. After all, in the world of coin collecting, it's often the smallest details and rarest imperfections that make the biggest impact, turning a simple 10-cent coin into a glittering treasure value between $18,000 and $30,000 today.